What is energy healing? That is what we're talking about today on Set to Love with Cecilia Wong. Welcome.
You can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality.
You are here to contribute through your essence, fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on.
Take what works, ditch the rest, and always stay set to love.
Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
Okay, is it working?
Oh my gosh.
It's like one of those mornings where my internet is a little cuckoo today.
That's all right. We're here. That's what matters. Good morning, Cecilia.
Ladies.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you two doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. Welcome to Set to Love. I'm so grateful to have you here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself for people who have no idea who you are, where you come from?
Well, thanks for having me, first of all. This is my first ever podcast, ever. So,
welcome.
A little bit about myself. I am a full-time accountant. I've been an accountant for a very long time, and I went to school to do accounting work, never intend to do energy healing work. And I always tell people it's like life just pushed me to this direction. I don't really have a choice for that. I never planned on doing this, and it just happened naturally. So, I would say I started this spiritual journey about 13 years ago. I was very curious about meditation, and I started to go around the city, go outside the country, and visited many temples and many places to learn about spirituality and meditation. I've been to Japan and Nepal and meditated with the monks, and went up to the Himalayas and visited a monk who just lived alone for a very long time. It was a very awesome experience. And through those experiences, I learned more about spirituality, and I was really drawn to meditation. So I started meditate, I would say 12, 13 years ago. And then halfway through, between that time to now, I got really curious about energy healing. And I went to a energy healer, and, he was doing his thing, and I peeked, I opened my eyes and I peeked because I thought I was floating. I was like, what is this? What is going on, So at the end of it, he was looking at my hands, and he was like, you be an energy healer too. And that time I was kind of a mess, a lot of messy things going on in my life. And I laughed. I was like, yeah, me, didn't think of it at all. So I left and I went home, didn't think about it. And then I was like, what is it? So I wanted to learn about it. And I took a course about Reiki, and I took the second level, and then I was like, I'm going to finish it up. And I did the master teacher level, and I've been practicing since. And then, just throughout the journey, whenever I'm curious about something, I would just go for it. I'm a little crazy that way. So I just go for whatever I'm curious about. And I also went to England and learned about trance healing. I went to Arthur Finney School, and it's a spiritual school. It's a really awesome school. It's like a Harry Potter school for spirituality. And I went there for a week, and I really learned a lot. And, personal spiritual growth, and also trance healing. So, and here I am now doing this part-time, doing energy healing part-time, and still keeping my full-time job.
Wow.
Okay, I love it. Go ahead, Shelley.
My first thing I'm thinking of, Cecilia, is how has this helped you personally in your life to not only be a healer, but for you personally, the experience of changing from doing accounting to something so unique like this?
Yeah, I enjoy both sides of the word, energy healing and accounting. They're completely different things. So I take appointments during the week after work, and it's like a good balance to me. During the day, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And then at night, I look forward to see clients and kind of get into that peaceful space with them. And, personally, what I learned is that one, through this whole spiritual journey, I learned about, how important it is to let things go and just accept, the present moment. It is what it is, good, bad. We shouldn't be judging whatever we're experiencing. And the most important thing through this experience is talking to people and learning about their lives, and like witness like some of the people grow from, you know, kind of like they feel like they're out of control, they can't control their life, to now they got it and they're growing, and it's just really rewarding to me personally. That is the biggest reward doing this.
So, Cecilia, can you tell us, for people out there who have just like maybe just heard the word Reiki, but they have no idea what it is or what you're doing, what is it and what are you doing?
Yeah, so Reiki is energy healing. Someone just told me, I just taught a Reiki class last weekend, and someone told me, I guess I meet the Fokker, they talk about it, and it's like completely inaccurate, you know, like what like about Reiki. So there is a misconception about Reiki, and Reiki is energy healing. We all have energy in us and around us. When something is not going right, when we're not emotionally balanced or not even physically balanced, we kind of know like something is off. So how do we fix it? So physical symptom is one thing. It takes time and you know, science and medical to fix what our issues are. And then energy, how do we fix it? So there are two ways that I work on. One, when our client is here, like laying in front of me on the table, and I tune into the energy field. So when I'm in that space, I am completely 100% tuned into that person's energy. So we're in this space together, and a lot of times during the time, I would be given like a word or like a vision or something about that person. And a lot of times when we have issues, it will be just sitting in our energy field. So basically, we have 7 major energy fields, which we call them chakras, and it starts from the crown and then forehead, the throat, the heart, and so forth. And each chakra holds different information, and it's very unique because it's almost identical, always identical. Like the heart is always like, you know, you hold all the grieving and the sadness here. And then for me, how I feel is like when people have anxiety and depression, they all hold it here. And people who think a lot, it's all sitting here. And then, you know, when they can't sleep, it's all like registering here in this energy field too. So where I tune in, I will be given the, you know, information, and then after the session, I will go over that with the clients to see what we can do to get things to, you know, to the balance points. That's one way, like the talking part afterwards, and what do we need to do to fix it. And during the appointment, I channel the energy from the universe, from the divine energy through me to the person. So during the session, I don't take any energy from anyone, and nobody's taking anything from me. So I often describe myself as like a garden hose, allowing the water to go through. And, you know, sometimes the flower, which is the client, sometimes it's, you know, it's time to absorb a lot of water, and sometimes it's just not time. So whatever it is, you know, the best way to handle it is just to allow whatever needs to happen to happen.
Well, I was lucky enough to come and see you a few days ago. My best friend, Eva, you were my gift. And I have to say, the gift was such a beautiful experience. I just want everyone to know it's crazy. You lay there. It's so relaxing. And the fact that you tuned into so many things that you would never know was going on with yourself, especially the one thing that got me was you said your left knee. And I really have been having trouble with my left knee. There would be no way you would know that. Now, as far as everything else, it gives you such a peace when you just quiet your mind like that. If nothing else, I feel so refreshed after that experience. So I do want to thank you so much. I want to thank Eva. But just to let other people know, Reiki is real. Things happen when you're laying on that table. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Do you have any experiences, Cecilia, with someone where like even you were blown away by it, where you like thought, wow, this is like, I thought this was real, but I'm doing it, but oh my goodness. Do you have any experiences like that?
Sometimes when I allow my brain to interfere, I would be like, whoa, you know, like I would kind of like take a step back. And sometimes I do feel like I'm floating when I'm working on somebody, especially when the person is very in tune or quiet down. It's almost like we're like traveling to this space, really quiet and peaceful. And it's such a beautiful experience. And it's like at the end, we're like, we don't want to come back, you know? So if I allow myself to use my brain, my logic to interfere, then I would be like, what's going on? Is this real? You know, like this is weird, but it's not. I think we all have that ability to get into that space. It's just, it takes training. Yeah.
How long has Reiki been around for? Isn't this something that's been around for just like hundreds of years or longer?
A very long time, hundreds of years. Yeah, it was originally from Japan and it got brought over to the US. Yeah. And then there are so many different styles too, like holy fire and many different styles. But the one that I learn and teach is the traditional Japanese type.
I kind of have a kind of a scary question to ask. Not really scary, but a question that could be sensitive to some people. Is this of God for people that, you know, are very strong in their faith or whatever? Is this something going against some people's faith, possibly?
Well, I do have people ask me that questions a lot. And to me, God energy is God energy. It doesn't matter what our religious background is, right? We all base our faith in love. That's what is important to me. So, you know what, no matter what we call God, you know, different countries, different languages would call that something different. I always tell people that, yes, my direct dial, it's God energy, you know, divine energy, universal energy, whatever you call that. So I think with that, like people feel a little more, you know, they feel like, okay, all right, it's God energy or universal energy. It's not really, you know, it's not like any specific type of religion, you know, it's not affiliated to any religion at all.
Thank you. I know people want to know that answer though. So
yeah,
a lot of people
ask
think
me
that.
Yeah, good question.
Well, it's interesting because I think that even for me, when I started out, like looking at just other things in the world, you know, because especially coming from like a very religious background, it does kind of seem weird. Like, does this even work? And is this even real? But once you experience it, it's phenomenal. And I've heard, and I don't know if you've heard this, Cecilia, that there are entire hospitals in parts of Asia that are 100% healing hospitals where there are no surgeries. There's not medication. It's quite literally people standing around someone with their hands on top, not even touching them, but just over them. And they're directing like positive intention or I don't know, whatever you do. And these people become healed from whatever's going on in their body. And to me, that seems phenomenal, but also super beautiful. And I think that we put things like Reiki in this woo-woo box and it's like, well, maybe you're that person who believes that. But I truly think there's science behind it. And once science catches up and gets over itself a little bit, I think that we're going to see that these worlds are super connected and that Reiki really is based in science. And it makes perfect logical sense for someone who has an open mind to be able to really understand it through that lens. Have you heard of that or anything along those lines, or am I just babbling?
No, there are research and science in this area, and they study the brain, the healer, and then versus the person getting the healing energy. And the brain, like you can see, like they're reading the changes, and it would change. It would become like calmer, and everybody, like just the energy is different just by reading the chart of, you know, what's going on the screen. So, like physically, I do believe there are changes during the, you know, healing session. And also, you know, how we think too. Like if you truly believe that, yes, I can be healed. You know, even if you believe this is a awesome healer and she can heal me, and just that thought alone, you're like infusing something positive in yourself, and you feel like, oh, all of a sudden I feel better. So you can look at it two ways. You know, like, I mean, energy healing really works, and also the person who is getting the energy. If you believe that this is going to work, you're switching something in your brain too.
I think that's all really great, you guys, but I don't know if I would switch a doctor out yet. I really would have to. I'm just being honest. I mean, if I had cancer or whatever, I would think Reiki would be really good as an added plus, but I wouldn't ditch the doctor.
No,
I love you, Shelley. I'm not saying ditch the doctor. I think I was watching something on like, I don't know, Discovery Channel, and they were just talking about
saying
these energy hospitals, and I was like, wow. And you could see like you said, Cecilia, on the screens, like the tumor. It was like literally like you could see the tumor. They had a camera watching on the tumor. And as they were doing the healing, you could see the tumor shrinking. Like in real time. It was phenomenal. And I think it was a documentary. Heck, I wish I knew where I saw it. There goes my memory. But it was pretty phenomenal. It made me think this stuff, there's like some legitimacy to this, that it really takes it out of that woo-woo box. And it's phenomenal to me. And it just proves the human beings, we're so much more capable of things than we really know.
Right. And there is still a lot that we don't know. And we have to be, we have to stay open to things like that. And it's like wind. We can't see it, but we can feel it. And sometimes you can feel the wind is stronger. Sometimes it's just a little breeze. So the energy is kind of like that too. You can't really, describe it so easily, but it's there.
I kind of think it's really healthy, even just from my experience with you, Cecilia, was just calming your brain to actually, I laid there, the hour went by so fast, and I actually laid there with nothing on my mind. And you just take that in. It does make changes, and it does help you. Now I really want to start meditating. And even if it's just small bits each day, there's so much positivity to this whole experience. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And over the years, I've seen a lot of people, their lives just kind of turn around. A lot of it's because of them. They have the determination to do something different. Like you decided to meditate every day or to do something different because they know whatever they were doing, it's not working. So they decided to be more positive, to calm their mind down, and to kind of like surrendering. It's a big thing. So it's like a starting point for a lot of people. So, it's a real thing.
Well, thank you for what you do. Gosh, that experience, and that you followed your dream. That's another thing about flow, is that you didn't fight that, nagging voice. And now you have such joy in your life that's what brings on flow.
And I want to say something else about Cecilia. So she's here locally in Santa Clarita, for anyone who's out there who's like, okay, maybe I'll give this thing a try. But the other thing that you did with my kids, which I really appreciated on a side note, was I brought all 5 boys and we were in your living room, and you set up a meditation center for us and led us through guided meditation. And I love, like, Dawson has some crazy ADHD, and you were so good with him, and he was, I think 8 at the time when we did it. And you'd give him this little timer and you'd be like, can you do 30 seconds? It's like, yeah, okay, I can do 30 seconds. Yeah. And you're so good with just teaching anyone, from my little 8-year-old who can barely sit still to, adults who just have never meditated in their lives. And the way that the singing bowls just vibrate through your body. And Shelley and I got to meditate with you this week also, and it was so beautiful. And it just reminds me how much needed it is for us to be able to quiet our minds and sit with ourselves and just be in the moment with no to-do list or checklist running through our minds, and just having that peace. So thank you for that experience. And where can people find you? You're online? I'll definitely put everything in the show notes, and are there other services and things that you offer?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's ReikiHealingByCecilia.com. And I'm in Santa Clarita, and I, besides Reiki healing, I also teach Reiki level 1 and 2, probably the master level next year. I feel like I'm finally ready to pass on more knowledge. And then besides that, I do teach meditation. I have meditation classes like once a month, the second Sunday of the month. And it used to be 2 classes, and then I take it down to 1, but then I have to bump it up to 2 again. So go onto my website to check out the class schedules and things like that. And I also teach little kids meditation. Again, it's like one of those things that I didn't plan on doing it, but then the parents were like, can you teach our little kids like meditation? I was like, okay, I didn't know I would do it. That's why I have all the little toys and musical instruments, because typically they can't sit still for more than 15, 20 minutes, but all your kids are doing great. They sit still like for a long time. And so, I mean, it's okay. Like, we are who we are. Like, sometimes, like, some people can sit still for a long time, even adults. And we just have to learn how to embrace everybody's ability, or anything that we can't do, we just work with it, So it's been a really fun experience. And I remember the first time I taught the little kid class, I was so exhausted. It was like 7:30, and I was like, I'm ready to go to bed. And then the moms were like texting me. They're like, our kids really like it. Can you have the second class again? I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it again. They're like, please. So I'm like, okay, fine. And then I did it the second time, and then they got better, like very noticeably better. And then third time better. And then after like 6 months, they could sit still, like completely still for 30 minutes, like not even moving a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I would do Reiki at the end, and I just have them all laid down in my living room, and they would just pass out. So when the parents come pick them up, I'm like, I don't know. They just pass out.
There's all that calming energy
Yeah.
flowing through everyone. They're like, okay, now I can rest.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on our show today. It's such a pleasure to know you and to have you in my life. And thank you so much for providing Shelley and I with an opportunity to be in your home, and for Shelley to have a Reiki session and to meditate with you again. And it's such a beautiful experience. And I really do hope that people will consider bringing some kind of really peaceful practice into your life, especially if your mind's racing, if you have a brain that won't quiet down, if you're kind of always running up here. Meditation is like such an important tool to just being able to control your emotions and your thoughts and bringing you back to baseline. So thank you so much for introducing it to my children in a fun way. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Everybody needs Cecilia. You better go.
Thank
telling you.
Cecilia, don't hang up. I will make sure that your contact information, you want to give us your website one more time?
It's Reiki Healing by Cecilia.com.
ReikiHealingByCecilia.com. Thank you so much. And everyone out there, if you have questions for us, you can email us at set2lovepodcast@gmail.com. We're here weekday mornings for you. I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. I love you, best friend. I hope you have a great weekend.
Hit the bell.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Hang on, Cecilia.